The civil war in Syria has dragged on for 3 years, and the conflict continues to affect not only Syria, but the entire region. The UN says there are now 1 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon, putting a massive strain on an already stretched country. It's described the situation as a devastating milestone. The total number of registered Syrian refugees is now more than 2.5 million. More than 660,000 have crossed Syria's northern border into Turkey. More than 220,000 have fled east to Iraq. In Jordan, there are well over 500,000 Syrians who've been forced from their homes. And in Egypt, over 135,000 people have been received. Let's go live to Al Jazeera's Rula Amin, who is in Tripoli in northern Lebanon for us. Rula, a staggering figure for Lebanon alone. Where do these refugees end up when they arrive in Lebanon, and how are they being supported?
This is one of the first places they get to. It's a United Nations registration center. They come here to register their names. As you can see behind me, there are thousands of them. Some of these people arrived 3 days ago, and some arrived a year ago or 2 years ago, and they come to renew their registration. They come here, they register their name, then they are called back maybe 25 days later or a month later for verification process. If they are verified as eligible refugees, then they start getting some of the services provided. It's food rations, health services, even some education. But as you said, today, more than 1 million registered refugees have been accounted for. And everyone knows here in Lebanon that this is the minimum number, because there are thousands and thousands of Syrians who had fled their country and came here to Lebanon who are not registered. And it's a devastating milestone, as the UN says, because Lebanon's resources to provide for these refugees are depleting by the day. There are about 2,500 who cross the border daily, and they need a lot of things, and they are turning into a burden on the Lebanese economy, whether it's a matter of providing electricity, clean water, sewage, education. Now, many of these refugees are children. Over 400,000 children are among these refugees. And just to compare, in Lebanon, there are 300,000 Lebanese children enrolled in the public school. Now, the number of the children coming from Syria are even more than that, 400,000. Only 100,000 are registered in the local schools. The other 300, they don't get any education, except for some alternative education that they get provided from some of the NGOs or UN services. Now, another serious problem is that Lebanon had been losing a lot of income due to the Syrian crisis, even without counting the burden of trying to provide for the refugees. In 2013, Lebanon lost over $2.5 billion. And that is due to the Syrian crisis, the war nearby, because that affected tourism, trade, investment in the country. Even the wages for the local workers have actually been lowered because of the oversupply of workers. Many of these Syrians come and they are willing to work for any money. That's why UN officials say Lebanon cannot be left to shoulder this burden alone, because it's at a breaking point, and the international community must step in and help provide for these refugees. Otherwise, the problems here in Lebanon are going to be exacerbated, not only in terms of economy, but even the security situation.
So a difficult situation, not just for the refugees, but also for the Lebanese population. Rula Amin in Tripoli, thank you very much indeed for joining us there.